Evening and welcome to the 2025 Mount Ascutney School District Annual Meeting. If able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. My name is Kate Williams. I will be the moderator this evening. I will start by introducing the head table. We have School Board Clerk Nancy Pedrick.
Okay, wait
Oh,
seconds, let's see. Okay. I'm Nancy Pedrick and I serve from Brownsville.
excellent. And Vice Chair Elizabeth Burrows.
I am Elizabeth Burrows, and I am also from Brownsville.
Chair Davis McGraw.
Yep. Davis McGraw, Windsor.
Billy Yates, West Windsor.
Christine Bourne, I am the superintendent at Windsor Southeast.
Amy McMillan, and I serve on the board for Windsor.
Megan Reed, and I serve on the board for Windsor.
Colleen DeChamp, Windsor Middle School Principal. Jennifer Aldridge, Allenbridge School Administrator.
Kate Ryan, Windsor High School Principal.
Larry Dower, CFO for the SU.
Okay. Well, I don't think we have to go through many of the rules because every single article is to be passed on for Australian ballot. If every article will need a motion and a second to discuss. I did speak to the Secretary of State's office, and they're saying no voting virtually and no commenting virtually, but I've always been of the opinion if you're here and even if you're not from Windsor or West Windsor and you're on topic and you have something to say, I welcome it. So I think I'm gonna bypass that for anybody virtually who is here as well. Once discussion on the warrant article is completed, we've moved on to the next article. We will not go back. Now, if I hear no objections, I will dispense with reading the warrant in its entirety at this time, choosing to address each article in turn. I hear no objections. Okay. Mount Ascutney School District, warning for annual district meeting in person and virtual. Wednesday, February 26, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. at Windsor School, room 210, 19 Ascutney Street, Windsor, Vermont, or Google Meet. Voting by Australian ballot, Tuesday, March 4, 2025 at Windsor Municipal Building, 29 Union Street, Windsor, Vermont. Or Story Memorial Hall, 22 Brownsville, Heartland Road, West Windsor, Vermont. Polls open 9 a.m., polls close 7 p.m. The legal voters of the Mount Ascutney School District are hereby notified and warned to meet in person at Windsor School, room 210, 19 Ascutney Street in Windsor, Vermont, or virtually on Wednesday, February 26, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. to transact any business not involving voting by Australian ballot or any voting required by law to be by ballot. Such meeting so started shall be adjourned to Tuesday, March 4th, 2025. The February 26th meeting shall include the public informational meeting on the articles to be voted by Australian ballot. And then there's instructions on Google Meet and how to join by phone. The legal voters of the Mount Ascutney School District are further notified and warned to meet at the Windsor Municipal Building, 29 Union Street in Windsor, Vermont, or Story Memorial Hall, 22 Brownsville, Heartland Road in West Windsor, Vermont on Tuesday, March 4, 2025 to act on any business involving voting by Australian ballot or any voting required by law to be by ballot. Polls open at 9 a.m. and close at 7 p.m. Article 1. To act on the reports of the Mount Ascutney School District officers for the past year from July 1, 2023 to June 30, 2024 by Australian ballot. Do I hear a motion to adopt Article 1 for discussion? Motion made by Ryan Dower. Is there a second? I need a second by Amy McMullen. Is there any discussion on Article 1? Hearing none, I shall ask the question. All those in favor of adopting Article 1 for Australian ballot, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Article 2, to elect the Mount Ascutney School District officers for the ensuing term by Australian ballot. Do I have a motion to adopt Article 2 for discussion? Motion made by Ryan Dower. Is there a second?
Second?
Nancy Petter?
Yes.
Is there any discussion on Article 2? Hearing none. I need a vote. All those in favor of adopting Article 2 for Australian ballot, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Article 2 has passed as written in your warning. Article 3, to vote that the Mount Ascutney School District is authorized to borrow money in anticipation of taxes to meet the requirements of the school district for the ensuing year and to authorize the execution and delivery of notes or orders to the school district by Australian ballot. Do I have a motion to adopt Article 3 for discussion? Thank you, Ryan Dower. Is there a second?
Second.
By Megan Reed. Thank you very much. Any discussion on Article 3? This one's going to go fast, kid. All right. All those in favor of adopting Article 3 for Australian ballot, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Article 3 has passed as written in your warning. Article 4, shall the voters of the Mount Ascutney School District authorize the school board to apply $129,923 of the fiscal year 24 surplus to the Capital Reserve Fund by Australian ballot? Do I have a motion to adopt Article 4 for discussion? Thank you, Ryan. Is there a second?
Second?
Is that Nancy? Nancy Petter? Thank you. Any discussion on Article 4?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to point out that because of the budget issues last year, there were several facility needs that were not taken care of. And during the board discussion, we felt that this money would help with those construction needs and to alleviate further damage and higher cost if those construction needs weren't met.
Anyone else? Virtually? No? Okay. All those in favor of adopting Article 4 for Australian ballot, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Article 4 is adopted as written in your warning. Article 5. Shall the voters of the Mount Ascutney School District approve the school board to expend $15,695,482, which is the amount the school board has determined to be necessary for the ensuing fiscal year? The Mount Ascutney School District estimates that this proposed budget, if approved, will result in per pupil education spending of $15,309.78, which is 10.23% higher than per pupil education spending for the current year by Australian ballot. Do I have a motion to adopt Article 5 for discussion? Thank you, Brian. And a second.
Second?
Seconded by Davis McGraw. Is there any discussion on Article 5? I'm going to hand it over to you.
Okay, all right, we'll come back to Article 6 at the end.
And we'll come back to Article 6 at the end.
All right, awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to get us started this evening. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you being here. I'm going to talk a little bit about our strategic plan because our budget supports our strategic plan. So nearly 5 years ago, actually during the pandemic, a diverse group of stakeholders came together to create our strategic plan, which serves as our North Star in guiding student success. As part of the work, we identified 5 core competencies, and they are empathy, perseverance, integrity, communication, and critical thinking. And we believe that all our students must master those before graduating from high school so that they'll be successful after high school. Our plan is built around 3 goals: student success and engagement, culture and student wellness, and information and communication. This year, our top priority is culture and student wellness because we recognize that students cannot thrive or learn and grow unless their foundational needs are met, and those are mental health needs, physical health needs, which includes food security, and their social emotional well-being. As you've probably heard, many of our students across the country are facing challenges, mental health challenges like anxiety and depression and truancy and disengagement, and some struggle with just a sense of belonging at school. So we're really focused on the goal of culture and student wellness. To address the goal, we've been working on fostering trauma-transformed schools. We use a collaborative problem-solving approach, and we are working diligently on preventing bullying and harassment in our schools, and ensuring that all our students feel included and represented and empowered to bring their full selves to school every day, which requires significant investment, which is where the budget comes in, to meet all the needs of students and their mental health needs and their academic needs. It takes interventionists and counselors and clinicians and teachers and support staff, administrators, and as well as curriculum resources. So part of our budget supports all of those positions and those resources. Our goal of student success and engagement is another key focus for us. We use a Leader in Me framework, which has helped us increase student voice and choice and leadership across the SU. We're working with our students to expand electives and flexible pathways, excuse me, and in involving students in learning in shaping their learning experiences in our schools. We've also recently, not this year but last year, implemented a new English language arts program and updated our math curriculum, and have also adopted an assessment program that we can administer 3 times a year to see if we're making progress in those areas, and that's called STAR assessments. Our last goal, information and communication, ensures transparency and community engagement. We are working on a district-wide communication plan that should be finished this spring. We just launched a new website this summer, which we've received really positive feedback about, and we use a newsletter platform across our supervisory union for consistent updates. Additionally, we share data reports 3 times a year with the board and the community to share the progress that we're making. So through these initiatives, we remain committed to fostering a supportive, inclusive, and high-achieving learning environment for all students. And I'm going to now, I've set the stage, pass it over to Davis to talk about the budget goals.
All right. So what you can see up on the screen right now are the kind of high-level general budget goals that we approach, I think, every year with. And that is to maintain a staffing plan and program of studies which support the whole child, and that is intellectually, social, emotionally, and physically, and to bring forth a fiscally responsible budget that meets the education quality standards and considers the impact this budget has in the community. I'll say that this year, going into budget season with the memory of last year's budget season pretty fresh in our minds, the directive that we got, that we as the board provided for our administration and the community as they were coming up with this budget, was really to meet all of these goals, but take this year to really not look into where we could go, not look into adding things, but really trying to maintain all of our existing services and programs and find any areas of savings that would not disrupt those things. And I think you'll see that what follows that advice and does so very successfully.
Jennifer, I think this is your slide.
Great. So we're just going to share a little bit about who it is that we are supporting, and these are the numbers. One of the things that people often think about when we think about the state of Vermont is trends of populations going down. And if you look far enough back and for long enough, you kind of see that we sort of ride these waves. And so this is our latest waves. We've got essentially pretty close to the same numbers since the end of COVID till now in all of our schools. So over at Albert Bridge, this year we've got 69 students. Windsor's pre-K through the middle school is at 325. Windsor's high school supports 232 students. So overall, pre-K through 12, we're supporting 626 students in our district.
Our budget and supports a strategic plan in our high school. When I spoke to you last year, I said that we have had goals this year of improving our math scores, improving our math instruction, working to improve our proficiency-based grading, and working to provide opportunities and experiences to students while supporting that sense of belonging. Our budget, our goals, and our ask for the budget remains the same for next year. We're currently appropriately staffed. We're not asking to add any positions. We are happy that this year we have an in-person health teacher, which has been hard to find, and she's been a wonderful addition to our staff. And she's working on meeting needs to get all our kids CPR certified. We have worked closely with Bridget, working with curriculum, and looking at the new education quality standards and tying that into our math work. That is changing kind of what we're doing next year in terms of making sure that by the end of 10th grade, all kids will have algebra and geometry as required, and we're adding financial literacy to our curriculum next year, offering 3 sections of that, which is a hope, which we're hoping every student before they graduate with their high school will have that class. That's to meet our educational quality standards and to work on improving our math learning here at school. We've also had a great opportunity to work with the Agency of Education, and that is to align our philosophy with our philosophy of proficiency-based, and to have that work have clear expectations for students, for teachers, for parents, clear reporting. So all of this year in this short amount of time with this guidance from the AOE, which has been like a mentorship, a partnership, they come down here in time that we give the teachers. All of our courses have specific priority performance indicators. They detail what we want students to be able to know, understand, and what we want the outcome of their learning to be. We're using common proficiency scales across our departments, and these are used to measure students' progress towards meeting all these indicators. Our next step, which we've already talked about working with Larry, is align this with what it will look like in our power school system. And our goal is we're going to look at our capstone, and each student's going to have a portfolio at the end of the year, at the end of their senior year, that is going to show what they have learned here, that they've worked towards portrait of a grad, and that portfolio is going to be kind of like their culminating senior project. But we've tiered it so it'll start their freshman year and it'll go through all the years. Those are the things that we have been working on in our professional development. Our curriculum remains the same. We're still running our March intensives, which provides kids with opportunities. As you know, we're running trips to Costa Rica this year. We are running a trip to Killington. We're doing stuff in-house to learn about the community here both in the Upper Valley and Windsor itself. We're able to offer varied electives due to the current staffing that we have, and this might include, instead of an English 11, you're taking sports and literature, or you're taking science fiction, something that interests you. And we do have a substance abuse prevention counselor on staff, which serves grades 6 through 12. They're an invaluable member of our community, and we're able to support that through grant funding. In terms of opportunities and experience, it's been a great year in what has been offered around us, and we'll be able to take advantage of. We'll be able to attend New Hampshire, bring back the trades for the first time since COVID. We've been able to go to Dartmouth and do the experimental day in emergency medicine. We have lead kids to the American Welding Institute, Sullivan County Health, in partnership with Cedar Hill, and they provide internships in return for the student to agree to work so many hours. And through that, students are able to get science credits and also get their LNA. In terms of a sense of belonging and a culture, we recently had Rajin Evans in, and we were able to invite other people in SU. He talks about his story, what a sense of belonging, what we want for our students. We have Ryan's story coming in, I think next month. And that is a direct about bullying and harassment and how we address that. And we have a great connection through recent grads with Lebanon Opera House. and they have been providing us when they get a residency. This year it's Percussion Discussion out of Africa, and it's an ensemble drum group based in Uganda. So they will come here and provide an experience for the students. We're also working with someone else to have an Alaskan group come in, and they provide a writing workshop for the kids based on their experience. So we are working really hard, and our students are responding to the experiences when they're exposed to them. Our performances in the theater have been met with joy, and that's been nice to see. So in short, I'm not asking for anything, just you know how we're working for people.
How the budget supports the strategic plan in our middle school. We also, as well, are fully staffed and not asking for any increase in the budget. What I want to share with you is some ways of things that are happening here at school that are supporting our student success and engagement and our culture and student wellness. In these first 3 bullets, with our student success, our teams, our professional development have been focused on productive discourse, effective discourse, and specifically, as Kate mentioned, supporting our math struggles and difficulties for students, supporting that with math collaboration, grades 6 through 10, really focusing on supporting our students and an ongoing development of intervention, double dosing, and how we support our students with all the adults who are available to the math skills and building on those concepts for our students. We also support student success through weekly multi-tiered system of support meetings with our team that can be referred by parents, teachers, staff to give any student universal interventions that are needed. And we also have twice a month student support team service meetings with all of our counselors, mental health clinicians, our SAP, which is our student assistance provider who supports us with substance prevention, social emotional interventionists in our planning room, all of those supports helping students to succeed as the whole child. With our student engagement, the next 3 bullets are our student leadership, our leader in me. We have a lot of opportunities for our students to lead, and one of those is choice in the collaboration we do with our 7th period that has evolved from a passion period to clubs to combined classes that we worked with Albert Bridge to have students from 6th grade at Albert Bridge join us and have students have choice in the different kinds of things that they would like to do. While giving choice, we want to offer choice in the areas that we already have here, like theater, music, world language, and making a conscious effort to put those things in the schedule in different places so that students are not forced with choosing one over the other, because we're always trying to grow these programs, and some of them suffered during COVID. We also have the luxury of being in this pre-K through 12 facility and having a lot of cross-grade collaboration, and seeing that leadership and mentorship is amazing and engaging for our younger students and our older students who are the mentors. Under student wellness, we also are very pleased that we have the health educator this year already with us and working. Sometimes our school nurse is doing a lot of one-on-one lessons and supporting our students with health and hygiene and wellness, and a huge advocate for the connection to our pediatrics and our local physicians. And the student assistance provider allows us to have more education for our middle level and high school students around substance prevention. And what's nice about that is we're seeing parents asking for their students to be involved in that, And rather than making it a kind of a consequence for moments when students might have had an interaction, an incident with a substance, that this is not a punishment, this is a time for education, and a lot of students will use it as an ongoing check-in as another person they trust, and that is our students' assistance provider. And this picture is a highlight of one of our events this year through our ACE classroom. The students were at Vermont Adaptive Skiing, and we get to offer things like winter activities for some of our students, and we have winter carnival coming up for our middle school, modeled after our high school program, and these are the things that the kids really look forward to, are engaging for them. Thank you.
So Jennifer and I share the elementary portion of this presentation. So I will start and talk about student success and engagement. We also are not asking anything more from the budget. We actually found savings in our ability to kind of pull some positions together and combine some classes that still allow us to provide the instruction that we need for the students, but also trying to be fiscally responsible to the budget. So we worked hard to do that. The way that we work to achieve student success and engagement in our schools is through our curriculum, which we've had a new curriculum implemented in the last 2 years. Both are still things that we continue to talk about on a regular basis, looking for gaps. How can we fill this need for a student, whether it's in the math program or in the English language arts program. We also work with our interventionists, who are just critical for filling those needs for students when they have an area of weakness and looking to address that. The Leader in Need program that we use across is to build leadership and capacity in the school. This year, our Lighthouse teams, we have for the first time have a student leadership team. They take on our assemblies in the morning. They do some community service around the school through recycling programs, and they have to apply to kind of be a part of these special events. And there's a committee that helps recognize them and announce them when they achieve these. So I can't speak enough about the importance of our coaches and our interventionists and the gap that they fill between student need and the curriculum and test scores. We know we're going to have students with need, and without these people, it's harder and harder to fill those needs. And through our professional development, we keep looking at ways to better instruct, to learn new strategies or share ideas about how to better relay information to kids so that it's received and not just told. So, and then our goal would be that every learner has a sense of competency in their ability to learn, even when it's hard. And I hear Jennifer say we can do hard things. I've kind of adopted that saying from her, but also teaching them how to learn, to make them be interested and intrigued so that they want to be learners. And to me, that's really one of our most important goals. If we make them curious and if we make them want to learn, then the topic really doesn't matter. They're inspired. So, I'm going to pick the next one.
Sure. So I'll go down to engagement, since you were just talking about being engaged and curious. We know that we're born super curious and with a great sense of ability to try new things. That's how we take our first steps. That's how we grow as individuals. And so one of the things that we're really working hard to do as a school system is think about how do we keep kids more engaged as they go through school. We know data statistics show that by the time they get to their upper elementary and middle school, they stop becoming engaged. That's across the board in our nation. And so that's a big problem, because if you're not engaged, you're not learning to your fullest. And so one of the things we really think about, what is it that helps us stay engaged, is a sense of, I have some choice in my behaviors. In fact, even if you look at prison systems, they say the one thing that helps a milieu, a group of people in the prison system, feel okay being there is giving them something like choice over their clothes. We know that choice is central for us. If you think about when you're told to do something and given no choice, how you engage with that is very, very different than if you're given some choice. So at the younger grades, we're definitely looking at limited choices. Like we do a lot more scaffolding, as opposed to as they get to Kate and Colleen's ages where they have more choices. but we're really trying to find where do I give you the chance to be an autonomous human being to show that you matter, who you are matters, and that what you care about matters. So keeping them engaged by giving them opportunities to celebrate being curious, rather than shutting down their curiosity and telling them, you have to learn this right now. Rather saying, here's many ways that you can learn this big idea, and trying to find ways. And so that's not something you find in a book. That's why we need instructional coaches. That's why we need thought partners. It's to say, boy, I'm really trying this with this class and it's not working. What can I do next? So that's a big part of our sense of engagement, is creating this sense of autonomy. And beyond that, the overall thing, particularly when we're thinking about elementary kids, when you get to certainly middle school and high school, autonomy is much bigger. But at our level, it really starts with a sense of safety and belonging. And we create a sense of safety and belonging by knowing each of those 622 kids. Every one of them matters. And not just matters because they walk in the door and they sit in a chair. They matter because somebody is connecting with them, whether it's a community member, a staff member, a peer, an older peer. We're connecting as human beings with each other, which is something that as a nation, in fact as a culture across the world, we're losing track of because of the technology. Right? We're so ingrained in the technology. I was just on a trip visiting with my mom, and I was like sitting there for a good hour just on my phone trying to answer stuff. I remember thinking, what am I doing? What am I doing? I won't have my mom forever. Put this stupid phone down. The emails will be there later. And I think that's something we all have to face into that. And so when we're in schools, we're really trying to create that sense of you belong here. And one of the ways we definitely are working to shift our approach is looking at curricula that we're adopting and asking the question, who is represented here? Who is seen here? And who isn't seeing themselves in this curriculum? Because if you're not seeing yourself, we know statistically that it's way harder to get there. If you see yourself in that curriculum, if you see yourself in the book, you see yourself represented in the mathematicians and scientists and musicians that are on the walls, we know you're much more likely to think, I might be able to be that too. That sense of confidence, I can be that. So as we move forward, we're really trying to work on how do we create that sense of belonging so that you feel safe, so that you then can take safe choices and become more autonomous in your own learning. That way you can succeed. So really we're working backwards too. Success has to be built on these other things. And overall, when we've created these structures of the last years, it's really about creating this bigger idea of how do we make sure every child walks in this door being seen, being heard, and making sure that we're giving them what they need so they can be clear thinkers, community members, civic leaders in our environment here or at a bigger level, depending on what they ultimately want. I think we'll have the next one. James. Oh, Dave.
That's me.
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you, Jen, and thanks to all of our lead learners for going into such great detail about what our budget dollars go towards. I am now going to give a high-level overview of how the budget comes to be before we get into some more detail after. First off, if you haven't had a chance to grab one already, this is our FY26 budget book, and there's a big stack in the back of the room there. You'll also see a QR code up on the screen, so if you're online an hour later or out in the audience and want to get advantage of it, grab that QR code. Larry made a really nice interactive virtual budget book this year, which I think has been very helpful, certainly for me as I go through it. You can break things out and kind of see different detail, zoom in on things. It's really fantastic use of technology. All right, so first off are the funding sources for our school. So in order to pay for all of these great programs and services, we rely on local taxes. We rely on the State of Vermont Education Fund and private grants. We do get some funding from parent-teacher organizations, or PTO, and then the School Community and Partnership, or SCIP. There are donations that come from our families, teachers, and community members. We have volunteers that help us out. And lastly, teachers do sometimes dip into their own money to ensure that they have classrooms. So our budget drivers, part of that is negotiated wages, and we do have a new contract for FY25-27. That's what's in the works right now, Bill. Is that correct? Mm.
This is a teacher contract?
Oh, teacher contract. Different contract. This one's not in the works. This one's set.
Yep. So this is the first year of that 3-year contract.
Got it. Yep. We also, health insurance is a big budget driver, and that's up 11.9%. That is negotiated at the state level, and we talk about budget drivers that we have no control over. That is one of the big ones. That comes down, and we just have to roll it in. Our SU assessment impacts the local budget, and our SU budget is up 9.3%. You can see the breakdown of that is 3% for admin and operations, and then 6.3% is special education, which again is something that we largely don't have control over that number. That's a state level thing that comes down to us. So our budget reductions, and we got a little bit of detail of that when our lead learners were talking to us here. But we were able to find some areas of savings in our budget that came together. Part of that was some staffing adjustments at Windsor. So 2 first grade classrooms in 25-26, there's a reduction of 1 full-time equivalent, or FTE. And we also eliminated a 0.4 PE position, and that's a reduction of 0.4 FTE. And then there were some staffing adjustments at Albert Bridge School. And that was a nurse and health teacher position. That was a reduction of 0.3 FTE. I just want to point out all of these were not eliminations of programs. We said these were ways that we were able to combine a lot of our existing services and providers to find these savings, again, without causing material disruption to our students' experience.
All right, I'm up next. We often get asked how much of your tax dollars go toward the SU assessment that Davis just referred to, which is up 9.3% for admin and ops and special education. It also encompasses our food services assessment and our early childhood program assessment. So those are all parts of the SU assessments. And so this is a visual that shows that 72.66% of the budget goes to the local budget, or roughly every 73 cents on a dollar that is spent goes to the Mount Ascutney School District budget, and the rest of that goes towards the SU assessments. The budget this year, as you heard Kate read, is $15,695,482. It is an increase of 6.06%. And it results in a tax rate increase, or estimated tax rate increase, because things can change at the state, and these numbers often do change before tax bills come out. But currently, the Windsor estimated tax rate is up by 0.5%, and the West Windsor is up by 4.8%, and that is due to the common level of appraisal that gets applied after Larry does all the magical math to come up with the numbers. And the CLAs in both communities are different, and that's why the tax rates are different. I do want to point out on the articles, we are required by law to put what the per pupil spending has increased by, and I believe that number was 10.23, and I just want to make sure people know that the budget is not up by that. That's the per pupil spending increase. The next slide is what everybody really wants to see. What does this mean for me and my taxes? So we have our tax impact tables, and you can see that if you are a Windsor property owner, if you own a home valued at $250,000, your taxes next year will go up $14. If you own that same property in West Windsor, a $250,000 property, your taxes are going to go up $132. I will say that the governor has talked to the legislature about a one-time buy-down. I think it's about $77 million that he has proposed to buy down these tax rates, and if that happens, Windsor's tax rate will go down it will be a decrease of 0.9%. And West Windsor, I'm forgetting, Larry, you're going to have to help me here. 2.8? 2.8. So if that happens, the legislature has to approve it. These numbers, the estimated tax rates will decrease. All right. A last reminder about voting day, which is coming up on Tuesday, March 4th in Windsor. Voting will take place at the Rec Center from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and in West Windsor at the Town Hall. or the same hours. And we are happy to take any questions that you might have at this point. If there are no questions, we'll turn it back over to our, oh, we've got one? Do you call it?
Sure. Edward Johnson has a question. Are you, first and foremost, are you a Windsor resident?
West.
Or West Windsor? I'm so sorry. Every time. Can you hear me?
I think Edwin needs to unmute.
Edward, you need to unmute.
He also goes by Win.
Oh, Win.
Win.
Okay.
I don't know how to. Can you say? Oh, open queue.
Well, there's nothing in the comments, but can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Or type it in.
Mm-hmm.
How do you unmute? Because I wouldn't know.
You can just press the space bar, actually.
Press the space bar, Win.
Just hold the space bar down while you're talking. Yeah. They just added it too.
No, I really want to talk to Win.
Oh, it was unmuted for a moment.
When you have to hold the space bar down. Sorry. You have to hold the space bar down.
I am.
There it is.
Got it?
Yeah.
Yep, we can hear you.
You know, that was a lot of trouble for a simple question. Is that summary presentation we just saw going to be available someplace?
Yes, it will be. We always put our presentation, we record them and put them on our YouTube channel, and Windsor on Air is here, so they will be posting the presentation as well.
I mean, just the PDF the slides that we just saw.
I can post them. Sure, absolutely. I can put them. We'll put them in the board portal.
How do people get there?
You go to the school board page on the website, and then click on Mount Ascutney School Board.
And that is wscsu.net. And then in the options there, you can go to any of the districts within the SU and find documents, through those pages.
And when if you have any trouble, don't hesitate to call the SU office, and we can help you get there.
Come to your house.
All right. When should I look? Tomorrow?
Yes.
Larry, you take care of that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Yes.
Any other questions,
Okay,
Win?
thank you. Sorry for all the trouble.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Any questions? Budget related? Or any presentation? Okay.
Yeah, the budget book is a great resource if you have questions. It's all inclusive and very transparent and comprehensive. So, but if you look at it and you have questions later, again, reach out and we'll be happy to answer them.
Hearing no further discussion,
We'll go back to the last one.
do I,
6. This one. Article 6.
I'm on Article 5. Yeah, exactly. Can I, all those in favor of adopting Article 5 for Australian ballot, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Article 5 is adopted as printed in your warning. Article 6 does not need any motions, but to transact any other business which may properly come before the meeting. If anyone has anything, I say this every time, anything you want to recommend somebody, or something happened that was great, or something happened that wasn't, this is the one time of the year that it's the town's, two towns, chance to air these grievances and or pluses. Does anyone have anything? Bill Yates.
Yes, I'd like to do a shout out to the Windsor Southeast Supervisory teaching staff and their willingness to try a new type of negotiations, more open and collaborative, and working with the board negotiating committee. It was really a wonderful experience to come out with a result that really served the needs not just of the staff, the staff associations, but also the need of the SU in individual districts as well. And I just want to thank them, along with those who negotiated with me, and Christine Bourne, who was very willing to take on a different role as not being one of the negotiators, but being there in a role to support both the staff and the board negotiating team. So thank you all.
Oh my goodness. Anyone else?
Taking a bit.
Anyone online? Every year. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Larry Dower, seconded by Davis McGraw. It is, what time?
7:17.
7:17. This meeting is adjourned until March 4th at either the Town Hall or Rec Center. Have a good night.